Welcome back to Seth on Call. Today we're going to be looking into bot flows within Genesys Cloud Architect. Bots are actions that run as a subtask within a main architect flow, almost like a common module in the sense they help organize flow logic. We'll talk through the core components of bot flows, intents, the utterances that sit underneath them, and slots, including how their types can be affected by regular expressions. We'll also walk through some areas that are a little different in the architect menus for bot flows, but we'll keep things in the get it up and running mindset that I usually try with these videos. Another key piece to bot buildouts is that we can use them in call flows as well as other media types. So we'll see the work of building out our intents and utterances be reused across multiple media types. This saves us a lot of time and creates a unified experience across the board for end customers. We'll build a bot flow for a grocery store called Food World. The grocery store sent out a flyer in the mail with a shopper ID and coupon code for customers to apply to their account. The campaign encourages people to initiate an interaction back within the grocery store as part of a loyalty program. This bot will collect a 10-digit shopper ID and a 5-digit coupon code. We'll then add this into a call flow as well as a message flow. I'll then wrap things up and briefly talk about another flow type you might see, digital bot flow, and how it differs from a standard bot flow. Now, before we can access the bot flow type in Architect, we'll need to double check permissions on our user roles. We'll need permissions such as add, edit, and view on bot flows for our intended divisions. We'll also need to add an integration from Genesys App Foundry if you haven't done so already in your organization. The integration is named AI Experience Tokens. You'll need to agree to the enterprise agreement when you add in that app. Be sure to check with your Genesys sales representative on pricing. Okay, now that we have that taken care of, we can begin with the architect builds. I've brought up the architect flow area, but I've moved over into the bot flows, so I would do that by going over this ellipses over here, and there's inbound call. I've moved down into the bot flow section. So I've got one that I had messed around with a little bit ago, but what we're going to do is add a full new one. So we're going to name this one Food World for the example illustration that we're going to build out for this. Okay, I'm not going to leave much for a description on this. Right now, I'm going to leave it my demo division. There's a question down here for template, and it's defaulted right now to bank bot. I don't want that. I'm going to be building right from a just kind of blank sheet so we can see me go in and configure some intents and then those utterances right from scratch. So I'm going to choose down here, I'm going to choose blank bot flow. Hit create flow. So like with our flows that are going to be for calls or messages, we still have a lot of the same layout of our menus over on the left, and then also our pane in the middle for being able to build out our flow diagram, if you will, of how these interactions are going to come through. So right up front, it starts you off with an exit bot flow. That's because this is going to be nested inside of our other flow types. So it is going to be kicking this out to the parent. And right now, I'm fine with that. I'm going to go ahead and more so talk about the left side, which is the things we're going to configure first before going in and putting our logic there. There's actually a lot to build out first over on the left-hand side with some of these areas before we do anything in the main area. What I'm going to do is go over this area right here where we've got intents, slots, slot types, and knowledge. Most of what I'm going to spend in is going to be with the intents, but obviously then we're going to need to, for those intents, or at least some data elements to come in. So that's where slots are. That's going to be a little bit more along the lines of what you think of when you are thinking about variables and what values are going to get stored there. So for slots, we're going to need to validate that we're getting the information we want. So there is some regular expressions we'll use to validate those. So we'll see those when we get in there. So let's go ahead and dig in. Let's start with intents. So like I mentioned, we're going to be doing this bot for a grocery store called Food World. The first intent that we want to use with this mailer campaign that got sent out is the fact that they're calling in to potentially apply a coupon. So we want to be able to ask them up front, which is going to do by default, is what would you like to do? And then hopefully they will start off with saying, I'd like to apply my coupon or something like that. And we may even be able to give some wording, a little bit more of an incentive on that. But for right now, it's just going to say we're going to have the idea that they're going to call in and say, I have a coupon code I need to apply. So we're going to hopefully catch that with our bot. So I'm going to go ahead and name this apply coupon. That will be our starting point for this intent. Now that it's set up, I need to add in these utterances. And so these are going to be the things that people would potentially say for triggering this intent that we're going to build some logic underneath. So what might a person say? There might be a lot of different things they might say about a coupon code. Hey, I got this mailer with a coupon code. Or, hey, I want to apply a coupon code to my account. Depending on what the wording was on the flyer, or maybe I think there could be a lot of different ways people say these things, and that's what the bot is going to try and parse through, is these different utterances. So I would try and put it as many different ways that could be said for that type of messaging, but what I'm going to do is just really just copy 4 in for right now. So I've already cut these off to my kind of notepad off on the side, so I'm just going to quickly apply 4 utterances here. And they are just different ways of saying really the same thing. We just want to be able to catch many different ways that people might say that they want to apply a coupon code. All right, and this one here is interesting because it already has a number in it. That's because it's an utterance, right? So the idea is it's going to be matching off of this to understand, like, oh, the intent is to apply a coupon code. It's good to just put in a number there for something that it would trigger off of to at least then go down the path of where we want to go next. So I've got these added in. So let's see, how many did I add? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is good. We'll go with that. Coupon code, applying coupon, redeeming my coupon code. All of these are these different ways that people might say stuff. So we're good with this intent. Let's go ahead and create another one that I'm going to use. And this is going to be, what if maybe they called in and we had this flyer go out with a number for this loyalty campaign where people are applying this coupon code to their account. Maybe they did call the number and they didn't necessarily want to apply the coupon. They just want to know where a store is, and or maybe a location is, because they got the flyer and they're like, where is one of these? And so we're going to do another intent, which is called find store. So find store. There we go, and save. Okay, same thing. We're going to put some utterances in for what people might say. Was it near this zip code? Because we're going to be building towards getting a zip code in this, and I'll show how that works with the slots. But for right now, let's just give some guesses here as what people might be saying. We're going to key off of to take them down this path of finding a store location. So I've got, where is the closest food world? Find a store near me. And here is one that's going to be for like a zip code. So find a food world in 98109. Let's add a little bit more to that one. Let's do in zip code. I feel like most people are going to say zip code right after that. So yeah, gives a little bit more confidence to that. And then just a couple more here. What store is near? Yeah, another zip code. So a different way of saying that. And last one, locate a store code near my zip code. Okay, so we have different ways of saying, because we are going to be having a gathering of the zip code information, and so that's going to be what we're really going to want to key off of for this type of bot flow. There could be other ways you might be able to use other information for kind of locating a store, but we're going to go off of zip code for right now. So there we go. We've got 2 intents. We've already got the apply coupon as well as the find store. So that way when individuals come into this bot flow, they're going to be basically stating what they want to do, and right from that kind of main entry point, we'll either go the different routes that we might be used to and where we build out a call flow. I'll show that in a second, but before we get to the actual build, we still got a couple more things to do, and that's going to be moving into the slots to decide those, and then really what qualifies those, or what is a valid input for what a slot is going to be. So again, as I mentioned, these are going to be like our variables. And the first I'm going to add is going to be shopper ID. We're going to say that, oh yeah, these can't have any spaces in them. We're going to say that on the flyer that they all got sent, that there's going to be a shopper ID, and we want them to enter this in for their account. So I'm going to go ahead and say shopper ID. We're going to do a new regular expression. We're going to evaluate based on that, and then save. The other thing that we want to grab is going to be zip code, because we want to be able to know if they find it. Actually, before zip code, let's do coupon code, because we do want that coupon code as well. So coupon code, And I'm going to say a regular expression as well, and then hit save. And then last but not least, let's put in that zip code. So zip code. And same thing. Okay, so now I've got 3 errors, and that's because I need to provide the slot types for these and some kind of validation. So we can go ahead and click on these hyperlinks to get over there, or they're underneath the slot types area over here. I'll go ahead and start with the first one, coupon code, and this is where I'm going to be using those regular expressions to evaluate it. I'm just going to say that they're going to be digits, so I'm going to use a very simple regex, or regular expression, however you want to call it, formula for this. Really just saying, okay, start to finish, it needs to be 10 digits. So very generic on this. You could do other ones that are a little bit more inclusive. Maybe there would be dashes or something like that exist in a coupon code, or maybe there's characters, that kind of thing. You could come up with a more complex regular expression for doing that kind of valid input type of evaluation. So I'm just going to do that right now for actually this is coupon code. We don't want to do 10. The coupon code is going to be 5. So let me fix that. So there we go. So we got a regular expression for coupon code being 5 digits. That one's good. Let's go back and do another one. Shopper ID. This one is going to be 10 digits. So I'm going to put that here. There we go. So shopper ID, 10-digit evaluation on that one. And we still have one more zip code. And this one is going to be 5 digits as well. There we go. And add. Okay. So we've got those 3 slot types created. We've got our 2 intents, and we've got the slot objects themselves created. One last piece that I'm going to do in this initial configuration that we'll use towards the end of my build is going to be a kind of default knowledge base for this bot flow to use. I've already created one for Food World. All that I really have in there is one article. It's just a 2-sentence mission statement about the grocery store and what they want to do for the neighborhood, that kind of thing. So very simple knowledge base, but you could upload a lot in there from your company documents, PDFs, and this is something the bot can reference if they might be asking something that it can glean from your knowledge base that you put into Genesys Cloud. I'm just going to put in a few. I'm just going to leave everything with default for its evaluations of it, but just know that this knowledge base that I set up, very simple, one article and just 2 sentences about the mission statement. So we'll see that maybe a little bit later on. Okay, that is the initial configuration for kind of the main areas over on the left, the intents, slots, slot types, and knowledge. Now that we've got a base level configuration for all those, I'm going to go ahead and save for right now. And then I'm going to go back to the main area for the starting bot, the default area. And now we can get to what we might be a little bit more commonly used to, which is building out the flow logic within this first main window here. What I'm going to do up front is we're going to look through the menu and just see how this might be a little bit different than our call flow or even inbound message. And up front, the first item in the list is going to be the main piece that's going to be different. It's going to be a ask menu with some sub items here for ask for intent, ask for yes, no, and then ask for slot. And that's what we're mostly going to use. I'll come back because that's going to be really what we add next, but I'm going to cover a couple other areas before we really dig in here. Communicate. This is going to be one that's almost like a send message that you might be used to in some of the other flows, or maybe even technically like a play audio. But in this, right, we're going to be able to use this bot flow in multiple media channels. So it keeps a very generic language of like communicate, because that might actually be a message that if we're throwing this into an inbound message flow, or it could be audio to play text to speech to the actual caller. So that's where that communicate comes in as something that I'll throw in just to show how that can be used. So data, pretty similar. If you're not familiar with maybe sometimes the get response, this is maybe for canned responses, and then also send knowledge feedback. So if you had a little bit more of a complexity to this flow, you can leave feedback on whether a knowledge base article was good or not. I'm not going to really add in those. That's just more of a do mention. Another piece of this is going to be the disconnect. I mentioned a little bit earlier about exiting, as the bot flow is really going to be nested in other flows, but you can disconnect the interactions right from in here as well. So most of the time this disconnect menu just has disconnect in it, but here we see we've got 2 items in our disconnect menu, so that's a little bit different here in the bot world. Okay, other than that, we've got a few other areas where you can go ahead and just manually set the intent down here in this menu. Maybe you already have some logic set up to where you want to do that for the bot. There can be applications of that. Again, I'm going with a very from scratch mindset here, but there can be other reasons to doing that. So clearing slot, those are going to be related to some of those objects that we built out. The other one that I thought was cool is that there is this anything else loop. So as we go through and build logic, you could like repeat, basically say, okay, is there anything else? And then kick them back to asking for another intent, something along those lines. It looks cool too. It looks a little different than the other loops that you might have put into other flows for looping through variables or something like that. This anything else loop is pretty cool. Is there anything else I can help you with? And then it kicks them back to kind of maybe the beginning part of your logic where you're asking for intents. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, so that is the main differences that I've evaluated with the toolbox menus. Let's go ahead and get into our build of the objects themselves. So first things first, let's ask for an intent. So this is going to have a lot of defaulting boilerplate in it already. Let's look over here. So what would you like to do? We could change up that if we wanted to. I'm going to keep it that general for right now. What would you like to do? Because there might be other things that might be coming through. The no input, it says here, if nobody's saying anything or anything like what it's going to say. Checkup count balance is not something we're going to have in there. So I'm just going to move it to an example for them of find a store near me. So let's change that. So find a store near me. So let's leave that a little bit better boilerplating there. But otherwise, yeah, let's just leave the question as what would you like to do? Okay. And then down here we have the intents that I've already created. Those are already selected. So we've got those 2 different path items out here as well. The other one I'm going to check in here to show in a little bit is going to be this knowledge one. That's where the knowledge base comes in for the bot to evaluate. And if the bot does basically give a knowledge base article to the caller, you can go down another path for that. We're just going to see what that's like. So I'm going to put that off to the side for right now. We're mostly going to build within the find store and apply coupon intents, but it's a thing to have off to the side there if you are going to be using some of those knowledge base resources within Genesys Cloud. Okay, we've got the main intent now. So now they're going to have that first kind of conversation with the bot of what are we going to do here? Now, after that, let's say they do say we've got that apply coupon. That was what they were to get the flyer. This is mainly what they're calling to do. So let's go ahead and ask a question. So they've said apply coupon. Before we really dig into those slots, let's ask them if they have a shopper ID, right? Because they said they want to apply the coupon code, but a qualifying thing here is we need to know that shopper ID so we can put it onto their accounts. Right now, the boilerplate's to do you want to proceed? We don't want that. We want to change that up. So we'll just say, do you have a shopper ID? And we'll save that. Okay. So with this yes, no question on a shopper ID, what we'll do is we'll then move on to the slot types. But before we do, let's handle the no path right now. So they don't have a shopper ID. Let's use that communicate that I mentioned earlier as one of the object types we've got here within a bot flow. And in this parameter here, it's going to just be very blank. So it's very much of, you could put in some expressions, maybe even a prompt itself. I'm going to use just text for now because I will be using the text to speech for the majority of this flow because of the bots. In here, I'm going to just put in, we'll say, oh, we need a shopper ID to apply a coupon code. Sorry, we cannot handle your interaction. Sorry. Okay. There we go. And then save. Okay, so we've given a little message of, hey, if you don't have the shopper ID, basically we're not going to proceed with the bot anymore. We're going to kick them out. Maybe we could do something a little bit different once we have them into kind of our parent flow, but I'm going to leave that as is for right now. And then over on this side, what we're going to do now that they did say they have the shopper ID, let's go ahead and ask for it. So now there is this ask for slot. So I'm going to add that in there. And then the first one we're going to do is shopper ID. So in here, gives a little bit of boilerplating for you. If you open it up, it creates it in 3 different boxes. I suppose you could really make this all one. We'll go with this boilerplating just to keep things simple for right now. Shopper ID is going to be the name here. And then let's change up this intro here. What is your shopper ID? Okay. So that's question number 1. So what is your shopper ID? We'll ask them that, and then we'll just go right into asking them for the coupon code. So not really much more evaluation to do here for right now. If I was building this out in a little bit more of a complex flow, I might do some evaluation on that shopper ID. Maybe right after this, I might put in a data action to go ask a CRM. Okay, is this a valid shopper ID? Just from like the actual system's perspective outside of just, was it 10 digits, that kind of thing. Because the bot will take care of some of that reasoning of just making sure it's the 10 digits, but we don't necessarily know that's in the system, right? Maybe putting in a data action to go grab that from a CRM through an integration might be a great thing to do right after that one. But hey, let's just move on, and we're going to go into now asking for the coupon code. Same thing here, we got our boilerplating. So let's change this up to coupon code. There we go. What is the coupon code? Yeah, that works. What is the coupon code? Okay, so we've built that out really for the coupon side of the house. So we've got it taken care of that. They're going to have that intent of applying the coupon code. We're going to make sure they have the shopper ID. Then we're going to ask for those 2 slots of being the shopper ID and the coupon code. If they said no to the shopper ID question, we're going to say we need shopper ID to apply coupon code. Sorry, we cannot handle your interactions. So that will be our communicate step. And then let's build out the find store a little bit. I'm really not going to do too much here. It's really just to show there is other intent types that could be there outside of what our main purpose is for this bot, which is the applying of a coupon. But we still might have people asking that. So in this, I'm just going to ask for the slot, and we'll say what, and then we'll do zip code here. What is your zip code? Okay. And then, of course, applying the zip code. And then after this logic, I might take in that slot result, maybe even a data action as well to just relay that information to the user about the contact hours, all that kind of stuff. Once we get the result of what the bot is going to provide us as far as the actual zip code number. But we're just going to say that we're just going to ask for that as being the result of the find store intent and have that go through. Okay, last is going to be the knowledge article. I'm not going to do too much here. We'll more so see if I can test it out properly, what that path is going to do. I'm going to do another communicate in this as well. And all I'm really going to say here is just this information has been provided from our internal knowledge base. So we should hear a little bit from the bot about, maybe if we do talk to the ideas, we're going to talk to it about what the mission statement is for the grocery store. Then should read us that information, and then I'll just have this boilerplated to say, hey, this information was from our knowledge base, maybe for legal reasons or something like that. That will then be the kind of last kind of output of what is going to be our main ask for intent that we're going to have on this flow. I think we've got built out most of what we wanted to on this. I'm just going to compare. Yeah, I think we're looking good. Sweet. Okay. So we've gone through the bulk of what we wanted to do. We wanted to build out a bot. And now what does that mean for how we apply this? And that's what we're going to do next. We're going to go ahead and publish this guy. So foo world It's getting validated and published. Sweet. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go back to Architect, and we're going to move first into a call flow. So I'm going to apply it to two different flows, one a call flow and then the other a message flow. So within call flows, I've already created at least just a inbound flow right now, just some of the general boilerplating that I always do, which is making a main task and removing the menu kind of boilerplating in there, making sure the grading is all set up. So we can jump right into this one. But all I've got in here is really just a disconnect tool step. So there's really no other logic in here. So I'm going to go ahead and edit. And again, this is an inbound call flow. So we can go ahead now and see that there is within our toolbox here a call bot flow. And then over here, I'm going to open this up and we should see our food world. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I've got the food world in here. And it's going to show those slot types as not only being an input, but also an output. And again, this, as far as why you might see these as an input, is again, it goes to a little bit more of a complex design. Maybe you're reusing this bot in multiple areas, and one part of the call flow you might have already gotten the shopper ID, and you could pass that along. So that way, maybe the bot doesn't necessarily have to ask for it. So we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to go right down into outputs. And I'm not really going to do too much in here. Really, most of what I wanted to show was the actual build of the bot flow. But for testing purposes and just helping to visualize, I'm going to put in a few elements into these flows. And so to do that, I'm going to go over here and we're going to, let's see, I might do an output here. So yeah, let's do a variable here and then we'll do coupon code. So I'll say output. All right, there we go. And then what I'm going to do right after this is we're just going to evaluate it just to make sure that like the coupon code came through. I'm going to do a decision step here. And then I'm going to evaluate that. So we'll say, is it set? These are kind of ones that I like to put in for just a little bit of variable evaluation. So we'll do output. Let me open this up so we get a little bit better view on it. And then also say and length for the output is going to be larger than 0. Just a little validation there. Okay. So then coming through this, then we would know, okay, we've got our coupon. Then over here, we might, because we're in call world, right? So I could go ahead and do a play audio of saying thanks for calling in, that kind of stuff. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll say, we have applied the coupon to your account. And then I'm going to say, thanks for calling in. Okay, so I've got that all as a TTS that's going to play to the caller because we are in that call flow. Save. And there we go. Maybe actually, let's do another thing. Let's say if they're in there, we want to throw them over to marketing too. So I'll just do a transfer to ACD and we'll send them to marketing so they can chat with them about being such a great customer. So I've got that. We'll leave my transfer steps as warnings for the audio. And that's really it. That's all we would need to do within a call flow itself, just to at least bring the bot flow in, have a little bit of evaluation on the slot types as they come out to maybe do a little bit of a different logic that we might do differently within a message flow. So I'm going to leave the rest of this as is so that way we can publish this as being the phone campaign inbound flow. I'm going to save, publish this. Wait for it to do its thing. And then I'm going to hop out again and let's go down to our message flows. Same thing where I've got a message flow built out, but again, nothing's in it. Just went ahead and created the object and I've got it tied into a deployment for messaging that I already have. In here, it's all set up to be released. I just need to build the logic in here and add in that bot. So we're still very much at just add new create state with our inbound message flow. So in here, the same thing. I'm going to go in here and say, call a bot flow. And then we've got that food world that I created. And same thing. I'm going to scroll down here, change this into a variable, and then say output coupon code. Same thing. Going to do a little evaluation on it. Expression is set, and output, and then make it bigger so we get the whole string in here, and length is going to be larger than 0. And then what we're going to do within a message flow, right? We're not going to have play audio. So here we're going to do a send response. And this response is going to be very similar. And so we're going to say, let me see if I can open this guy up for you guys. Let's do literal. We have applied your coupon code. Thanks for chatting with us. So there we go. We got a little bit of a difference that I've done with the inbound message flow versus the call flow using the same bot, but when we've exited the bot and we're back into these flows, I've got a thanks for calling us message within the inbound call flow, and then here within the inbound message I've got a thanks for chatting with us. So we get a little bit of a better picture of how we're seeing this within 2 different flow types. And then that's about it, right? I think we'll maybe do the same transfer to ACD that we did in the other flow, send them over to marketing so I can have a good time with our marketing folks, and save. And that's all we really need to bring that bot flow into our inbound message. So let me go ahead and publish. And let's start testing this out. I've got both of these already tied up, so my inbound message is already, or my inbound call flow is already tied up to a call routing step, as well as my inbound message is already fixed to a deployment with a website that I'll test out. But let's go ahead and do this with the call flow first. So I will flip back over into call land. I'll bring it up on the screen here just so we can see it visually. And then just so we have it up as well, I'll go over here to the bot and open that up as a separate window as well so we can see it. There we go. Okay. So that's our visual. All right, let's try it out. Let's see what happens.
What would you like to do?
Apply a coupon code.
I think you want to apply coupon. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you have a shopper ID?
Yes.
What is your shopper ID?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What is the coupon code?
Ooh, there we go. 7, 8, 9, 4, 5.
We have applied the coupon to your account. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, and now I've hit a queue. So I imagine that I'm sitting in marketing. Let's go over to my agent and get myself on queue here. Look at that. All right.
Thank you for
Okay, and we're live. Very cool. Okay, so we've made it through the phone side of the far left, which was our main route to getting and applying the coupon code. Let's make the call in again, and we'll try a few of the other steps as well, which is going to be basically us like saying we don't have a shopper ID, and then we'll also maybe try the find store as well as the knowledge base. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this call, and we're good there. Okay. All right, we'll leave that as is. Okay, so we already tried this one. Let's go and call again, and we'll try and see if we can do the no part on the shopper ID. We'll see how that goes.
What would you like to do?
Apply a coupon.
I think you want to apply coupon. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you have a shopper ID?
No.
We need shopper ID to apply a coupon code. Sorry, we cannot handle your interaction.
Okay. And then it disconnected my call because there was no coupon code as it came out, so that call flow just disconnected it as we exited that bot. And so that was the path of the no for our ones. We at least get a little bit of feedback on it, but then did kick us out there. So let's try the next one, which is going to be find store, so that way we can see it getting a different intent than what we've tried with these first two ones, which is going the route of applying that coupon code. So we'll see how this goes.
What would you like to do?
Find a store.
I think you want to find store. Is that correct?
Yes.
What is your zip code?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So I had nothing for it, so it just kicked me out. So we will assume because of that validation that we did get our correct zip code, because otherwise it would have said that was not a valid entry and then redone us. But so we at least got to see there that there was a different intent that was seen from the first part of getting into that flow. So let's do the last one there, and let's just see what we can get out of maybe getting a little information out of a knowledge base article.
What would you like to do?
Food World's mission statement.
At Food World, our mission is to provide fresh, affordable groceries while creating a welcoming shopping experience for every customer. We are committed to serving our communities with friendly service, convenient locations, and a loyalty program that rewards the families who shop with us. Did this answer your question?
Yes, it does.
This information has been provided from our internal knowledge base.
Okay, there we go. So it did clarify that was what we wanted, was that knowledge base article, and then it fed us the line that we programmed in here about that information being provided, and then exited the flow and then disconnected the interaction because there was no zip code to give us that transfer over into the marketing department. So there we go. We went through most of the paths that we have built here for the bot, with doing that within a call flow. I'm not going to mimic every single one of these within the inbound message, but let's at least see it work with going through that inbound message flow that we got set up. So I'm going to go over here in my browser. There we go. Okay, so here is my static website. Well, I'll hit this little button here. That'll open up a message panel for us. And here we'll just say hello, because that's going to at least initiate our interaction into the system as an inbound message. So we'll see what it does here with just sending it hello. Okay, what would you like to do? I'm going to go ahead and say apply coupon code. I think you want to apply a coupon. Is that correct? So here it's actually asking me right in here to click yes or no, as we had that kind of intent of asking yes or no. So this is nice to be able to do it, or I don't even have to like type in yes. I kind of like that. Okay, so do you have a shopper ID? Yes, I do. And then what is your shopper ID? So let's give it, I don't know, something that's going to be 5 digits or 10 digits. We'll do that. Okay, we passed that evaluation. And then we'll do 5 for this one. And there we go. Okay, so we applied your coupon code. Thanks for chatting with us. And then I should be actually getting routed into the queue. Okay, there we go. So we'll answer this. And there we go. We get a little bit of the chat conversation, and I can say, thanks for being such a great customer. And there we go. And as we see within this message flow, obviously it did put in the thanks for chatting with us. So we got that came from the inbound message part of what we built out in that flow to then give us the ability to pass this along, but then still be using all of that logic, all those intents and utterances we built out within that bot flow. So we've gotten most of this built out here. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this and then leave that wrap-up code. And over on the main client side, we've got all of that information being there for the being a great customer, and then we see that as coming from the system as well. So we passed all the tests that we wanted to do for both inbound call and inbound message that we wanted to do with having a bot put into our flows. And there you have it. I hope these builds help at least show a little bit of the lay of the land when it comes to adding bots into multiple media type channel flows. While we're on that topic, let's briefly talk about digital bot flows. These are shown as separate flow type in Genesys Cloud Architect. The reason is that they have many components such as visual knowledge base articles and content menus. And believe it or not, even in the year 2026, not all phones have screens. So design of that nature isn't going to work in call flows. Because of this, digital bot flows are a separate flow type. They heavily mimic a bot flow used within an inbound message flow, but they can't be added into a call flow. I plan to do a video in the future on digital bot flows and their additional features for more visual media channel types within Genesys Cloud inbound channels. Thanks for giving this video a watch. Feel free to comment on bot flow use cases you might have, or anything really. Please be sure to give a like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for being on call with me.